My sister and I both got accepted into university, but our poor family could only afford for one of us to go. We drew lots to decide. She drew the lucky slip to attend, while I was forced to work as a factory laborer. Little did I know, my sister was expelled halfway through her studies and couldn't even find a decent job. Meanwhile, I had built a stable career and a happy family. My sister secluded herself at home for 2 years, eventually crying and begging me to help her find work. My usually silent father slapped her across the face, telling her to face reality. My sister, furious and driven mad, brandished a knife and murdered me while I was bringing her something. When I opened my eyes again, I found myself back on the day of the draw that year. This time, my sister proactively gave up her chance to go to university for me. I chuckled. How could she give up such a great opportunity to study? The moment my sister gave up, I was certain she had also reincarnated, just like me. In my past life, it was she who deliberately held the marked slip and threw the remaining blank slip into my hand. Oh, big sis, how embarrassing. My luck's too good, I drew the slip for university. You're not mad at me, are you? In this life, she still looked at me with the same contempt. Clara, you proactively gave up your spot for me. You really must thank me, you know. Mother, panicked, shrieked, Clara, what are you doing? My sister held the blank slip and whispered a few words into Mother's ear. Mother's face alternated between pale and flushed, but her eyes remained fixed on me. Clara, are you sure? You want to proactively give your university spot to your sister? My sister nuzzled her head into Mother's shoulder, whining, Oh, come on, I still have Mom and Dad, what's there to be afraid of? Mother looked at me with irritation, but finally huffed. Thalia, you must remember this is the opportunity your sister gave up for you. The university matter is decided then. But on the eve of my enrollment, Mother said my sister needed to work to earn extra money for herself, while I wouldn't need to spend much at university. So, she cut my allowance in half and gave it to my sister. I didn't care, because they had no idea that meager amount wouldn't last her more than a few days out in the world. And I wasn't sure if the remaining money at home would be enough for my sister to squander as she used to. In my past life, Mother also marked the slips and told us to choose, claiming it was fair, but I essentially had no choice. My sister quickly handed me the blank slip, put on her new dress, happily took the money, and was taken to university by our parents, while I was forced to plunge into society early to struggle for my future. Our futures had, in fact, been decided by Mother's favoritism long ago. But who would have thought that my sister, the one with the chance for a proper education, would be blinded by the temptations of the outside world? She thought she could live like a rich young lady, neglecting her studies, skipping classes to chase idols, and seeing herself as superior. In the end, she was expelled from university before even graduating. She cried hysterically at home, forcing our parents to drain their savings to send her abroad for studying. She vowed she would surely bring honor to the family. When I heard about it, I almost burst out laughing. How could that be? Based on what? Her English vocabulary of less than 30 words. The meager savings our parents had accumulated their entire lives, which wasn't even what someone else earned in a single year. Besides, no matter how hard my parents tried, they couldn't find any school willing to accept her anymore. Clara stayed at home, leisurely enjoying herself, dreaming of a beautiful life, relying on our parents' money as a carefree freeloader. During that time, she threatened our parents with death countless times, forcing them to borrow money for her to go abroad. Unfortunately, no one extended a hand to help this leeching family, especially her. She coincidentally saw me, dressed elegantly, entering and exiting upscale office buildings, with a handsome man beside me, living the life she had always dreamed of. She became mad with jealousy. Our helpless parents watched their beloved daughter crying and threatening suicide, then turned their attention to me. Alia, how could you bear to see your sister suffer like this? Do you have no conscience? She's your only sister. Find Clara an easy job that pays well. I coldly looked at those 3 unfamiliar faces. A chance to study, parental love, what else was she lacking? If I had been like her, I would have woken up from my dream laughing. I didn't know that seeing my increasing success filled her heart with bitter resentment. Why could I live so smoothly? Why did a neglected child like me have a happy family? Clearly, she was the chosen one to go to university. Why, then, was she now brandishing a knife at me? Out of jealousy. Therefore, after reincarnating, she immediately took the blank slip, pretending to be noble by saying she was giving me the opportunity. Fine, the life she dreamed of in her past life now belonged to me. September arrived. My enrollment day was also the day my sister went out to look for work. On my first day of university, my parents should have carried my luggage and taken me to the dorms, but my sister begged Mother to take her to the subway station instead. Mother, who didn't want to accompany me anyway, immediately dragged along my weak-willed father and left. Alone, with my luggage, I stood before the university gate, looking at the youthful faces around me, my heart filled with exhilaration. Heaven knows how many times I had dreamed of this scene in my past life. Whether they were here or not, I didn't care. As I trudged along with my suitcase, a male student in a red jacket ran up to me from a distance and started talking. "Hey, fellow student, I'm a volunteer. Are you alone?" Seeing me nod, he quickly took my luggage, led the way, and introduced me to various areas of the campus. After talking for a while, I learned he was in the same major as me. Haha, so we're in the same department. Consider me your senior then. What a coincidence. Perhaps it was the heat, or perhaps the heavy luggage, but beads of sweat trickled down his handsome face. It's rare for someone to come to university without their parents. You're truly independent. When we reached the women's dormitory, he awkwardly scratched his head and put down my luggage. "Sorry, I can't go inside here. You'll have to carry it up yourself. I'll go help other students now." With that, he waved and left. I quickly called out, "Thank you." The private room was spacious and bright, something I never dared to dream of in my past life when I first stepped into society. Back then, I had to share a chaotic 8-person dorm, terrified every night by creaking beds and arguments between men and women, only able to hide under my blanket. My roommates greeted me warmly. Friendship among girls can sometimes be very simple. Just a few casual chats can quickly bring people together. Everyone planned meals together, went to classes, chatted about cafeteria food, and shared interesting news. Student life was simple and joyful. University, I've arrived. Although I had successfully enrolled, the issue of survival remained urgent. My meager allowance had been halved and given to Clara. So, I started looking for a part-time job on campus. After considering how not to let it affect my studies, I was lucky enough to get a job in the cafeteria. Every lunchtime and evening, after classes, I would go to help out in the cafeteria during peak hours when students were most numerous. My advisor said that very few students applied for this job because they were afraid of losing face in front of friends, but I didn't care. Although the work in the cafeteria was a bit tough, at least it covered my meals, saving me some expenses. And so, my life revolved around 3 points: classes, the cafeteria, and the dorms. Until one day, a roommate accidentally saw me working in the cafeteria. People started talking about me, but I didn't have time to pay attention. Because going to university was my lifelong dream. Until one day, a roommate came to find me. I only knew her as a normal rich girl who rarely interacted with others. Yet today, she smiled and offered an olive branch. "Thalia, do you want to make money?" I was surprised. Did a girl like her, who didn't have to worry about food or clothing, also need to make money? After chatting all afternoon, I understood that she also earned money to support herself, but unlike me, her family was genuinely wealthy. Making money was just a hobby for her. I was curious what she usually did. "Why are you so diligent in making money, and why did you come to me?" Mia replied casually. "My parents taught me from a young age to be independent. Although my family isn't lacking, every penny I spend now I earn myself." After saying that, she suddenly looked at me seriously. "Thalia, I've been watching you for a while. You want to make money too, right? I'm looking for someone with the same mindset as you." She and I sat down and discussed carefully for an hour. Before leaving, she looked at the money I had just transferred on my phone. "Thalia, are you sure? This is all your money?" I nodded. From the moment I chose to go to university, I had bet my whole life. If that's the case, what else was there to fear? I understood one thing clearly. Manual labor couldn't earn much money. Even without Mia, after resolving my basic living expenses, I would have found other ways to work. "Thalia, thank you for trusting me. Trust your own choice too. I definitely won't let you down." At the weekend, I returned home to pick up a few things. As soon as I walked in, I saw my sister, dressed lavishly. Seeing the books in my hand, a flicker of regret appeared in her eyes, but it was quickly replaced by smugness. "Oh wow, university students are really something. Come home empty-handed and even take things away. Truly ungrateful." She covered her mouth, feigning an apology. "Oh, big sis, I slipped up." I just gave a faint smile. "It's all right. It's not the first time you've said something wrong anyway." Her expression immediately changed. "Ah, so you're a big shot now that you're in university, huh? You dare to talk back to me? Don't forget who gave you the chance to go to university. Don't forget who's sharing her allowance with you." I also became cold-faced. My sister was so angry she almost swore loudly. Perhaps she didn't expect me, the one who always remained silent and endured, to dare to resist now. "Clara, don't argue with your sister anymore. Your sister's, after all." Before my sister could speak, Mother rushed over to intervene. I looked curiously at this biased woman. Today, she was actually willing to pull my sister away to stop her from causing trouble with me. Clara stopped arguing with me, only giving me a resentful glare. I sat in the living room, bored, drinking tea. Just then, Father walked out of the bedroom with a man, so that was it. There was an outsider present, which was why they had to put on a show of a harmonious family today. I glanced at the man and was immediately startled. It turned out to be an old acquaintance from my past life. Not just an acquaintance, but a very familiar one. Seeing Father's and my sister's insincere smiles, I immediately understood. Just like in my past life, a man with a bit of money could easily manipulate my entire family. Seeing the man appear, Clara became even more smug. She pretended to be affectionate, sat next to me, and whispered in my ear, "This is my boyfriend. He's not only rich but also very loyal. He only loves me. He's going to marry me soon, too." This I believed. In my past life, he had said these very words to many people, including me. He had some money, but seeing Clara's smug expression, I had no intention of revealing the truth too soon. After all, this was her own choice, wasn't it? Seeing my lack of reaction, Clara was very annoyed, but my father and that perfect guy had already sat down. If she made a fuss, they would surely hear, so she had to keep her mouth shut. A biased mother, a weak-willed father. I no longer held any affection for this family. Before finishing dinner, I stood up and left. Accidentally glancing outside, I saw an expensive car parked right at the entrance of the apartment complex, looking completely out of place. Clearly seeing the person inside the car, I only felt amused. "How interesting." I gave a faint smile, waved, and hailed a taxi back to university. In the following days, besides discussing our startup with Mia, I was like a sponge, frantically absorbing knowledge in classes and the library. I proactively sought out lecturers to discuss topics. In my past life, I had no education, no knowledge, and suffered all sorts of disadvantages. So this time, I not only learned what the university taught, but also wanted to go further. The professor greatly appreciated my eagerness to learn. Nowadays, students only care about having fun. Very few have the motivation to study like you. Then he introduced me to his favorite student, telling me to ask him if I didn't understand anything. I never expected that his excellent student would be the senior who helped me with my luggage on enrollment day. What a true coincidence. His name was Ethan. After giving his instructions, the professor hurried off to a meeting, leaving Ethan and me to look at each other awkwardly. I broke the silence first. "I didn't get a chance to thank you the other day for helping me with my luggage." Ethan chuckled heartily. "It's nothing. So you're the professor's favorite student, huh? What a coincidence, indeed." After saying that, he led me to visit the professor's research group. The senior students were eagerly debating a topic. Watching that scene, I felt one thing in my heart. I truly loved this atmosphere. Ethan said to me, "Junior, although this research group is always busy, it will definitely be very beneficial for your future. Otherwise, why would so many students want to join the professor's group?" Of course, I understood the importance of gaining knowledge beyond the curriculum. If I wanted to advance further and enter more prestigious academies, this opportunity was my stepping stone. "Senior, I really like this place. I will definitely work hard to be kept by the professor." Hearing that, Ethan's eyes lit up with joy. "Go for it, Junior. If you get in here, we'll be teammates working side by side." My early departure the other day made Clara think I was provoked by her boyfriend. She even called, pretending to comfort me, saying she wanted to meet me at university. I knew very well she had no good intentions, she just wanted to see how miserable I was. So, I used the excuse of a packed study schedule and no time to meet. Perhaps she thought I was living too miserably, so she offered a few words of comfort and then ended the call with a gloating attitude. I just found it amusing. What a truly pitiful and simple-minded person. While I was busy with my studies, Mia unexpectedly came to find me. As soon as we met, her face looked troubled. I knew for sure she had run into problems. Thalia, don't panic when you hear this. This time I made a bad investment. I might not even get back the capital. Perhaps afraid I would get angry, she hastily added, but don't worry, I will definitely return your money. I had known for a long time that investments always carried risks, so I didn't blame her for this. If I had the courage to make a decision, I also had the courage to face the consequences. It's okay, Mia. Tell me the full situation. We'll find a solution together. After listening to her recount the entire event, I finally understood the seriousness of the problem. Mia had invested in a healthy food shop. Because of its transparent preparation process, daily fresh ingredients, and reasonable prices, the shop quickly captured the student market. This made competing shops feel threatened. They banded together, trying every possible way to push Mia's shop out of the game. Step 1. They hired paid online trolls to create negative public opinion and spam negative reviews on food delivery apps. They even deliberately put hair and spoiled vegetables into the food, then took photos, claiming Mia's shop was unsanitary. Step 2. They paid students to badmouth the shop on university forums. Rumors like cheap prices never mean good food, and eating there causes constant stomach aches, were constantly spread. Mia could still cope with these tricks. But the most malicious thing they did was secretly submit complaints to the Department of Industry and Trade and the Food Safety Bureau, causing Mia's shop to be repeatedly inspected, time and again. Business was interrupted, while rumors spread that if there were no problems, why would it be inspected constantly? It didn't stop there. Small traders in the market were also threatened. If they continued to supply ingredients to Mia's shop, they would be boycotted. By the time Mia found out, the shop's reputation had plummeted, its supply chain was blocked, and it was even threatened with closure. Mia was almost in tears. Thalia, I'm truly at my wit's end. I knew these dirty tricks all too well. Many people think that the business world involves high-tech battles, data hacking, or large-scale fraud, but in reality, the vast majority of business tactics are just spreading rumors and backstabbing. I patted Mia's shoulder to comfort her, then began to plan our counterattack. Did they think students were easy to bully? Mia, listen to me. Step 1. We must collect evidence of malicious complaints, such as photos, videos, and recordings, then file a complaint with the authorities. Once the police start investigating, they won't dare to continue their dirty tricks for a short while. Step 2. We'll publicize the matter on the university forums. Currently, those slandering the shop are anonymous accounts, but there are many students who have eaten here. We just need to share our story so that real customers speak up in defense, and then those spreading false rumors will be exposed immediately. Step 3. Leave the supply chain problem to me. If local traders are afraid of threats and won't sell to us, then we don't need their goods anymore. We can connect with agricultural regions outside the province. I've seen the sales report, plus the order volume from groups in universities. Our profit is quite significant. No wonder they want to shut down this shop so badly. After hearing my plan, Mia's eyes lit up. Thalia, you're amazing. Having someone to brainstorm with makes me feel so much more at ease. Thank you. Watching her rush out, full of motivation, I just smiled. I had to act too. To solve the supply problem, I braved the sun, running through various markets. But either the vegetables weren't fresh or the prices were too high. There were no suitable options. After 4 or 5 consecutive days of hustling, I looked at my arm, half-tanned by the sun, and could only give a bitter laugh. Easier said than done. I sat down on the sidewalk, wondering where to go next, then looked up at the sky aimlessly. Mia must be working hard too. I couldn't let her fall behind. Watching the bustling crowd, I suddenly saw an old man pushing a tricycle cart selling vegetables. That's right, how could I forget? The local farmers selling vegetables are the best source. I quickly ran up and stopped his cart. Sir, may I ask you something? Perhaps seeing how young I was, he stopped his cart and happily chatted with me. My dear, my hearing's a bit bad. You'll have to speak up a bit. Sir, do you grow these vegetables yourself? What kinds do you have? The old man pulled back the cloth covering the vegetables to show me. Yes, my family grows all of these. They're very fresh, and we have all kinds: cabbage, zucchini, tomatoes. Perhaps thinking I wanted to buy, he enthusiastically introduced each type of vegetable. The prices were much cheaper than from merchants. I understood the farmers' hardships. Traders would force down prices when buying, then sell at exorbitant prices in supermarkets. The hardest hit were always the vegetable growers. I gently tugged his sleeve and said loudly, "Sir, I want to discuss a partnership with you." May I come to your home to talk? He looked at me doubtfully, but seeing my serious expression, he agreed to give me a ride home on his tricycle cart. Lush green vegetable fields swayed in the wind. It was hard to believe there was still such a patch of green right in the heart of the concrete jungle. This scenery brought great peace to my soul. I briefly explained the partnership plan. The old man, still not fully understanding, questioned, "You mean I don't need to go to the market to sell vegetables anymore, but just deliver them directly to your shop?" "Exactly, sir. Our shop uses large quantities of vegetables. You alone might not be able to supply enough, but for now, we will definitely partner with you. You just need to deliver the vegetables to our location every day." Hearing that, he beamed with joy but still had some doubts. "If that's the case, it would be great, but how can I trust you?" I smiled. "If you have children or grandchildren, just give me their phone numbers and I'll explain clearly. Also, I'll sign a proper contract, black and white. You don't have to worry. If we violate it, you can report us to the police immediately." The old man was half believing, half doubting, but still saved my phone number. Then he told me about his life while I sat relaxed in the garden, listening to the croaking of frogs and breathing in the earthy scent. It was the first time since my reincarnation that I had such a moment of relaxation. Ever since getting a chance to redo my life, I had always raced against time, never daring to be careless. But this dream of changing my fate might just be coming true. Back at university, I immediately arranged to meet Mia at a coffee shop to summarize the situation. Seeing my tan, she covered her mouth and chuckled. "Thalia, you're getting so dark. The sun's been really strong these past few days, hasn't it?" I sighed, imagining how much my sister would mock me if she saw me like this. "It's nothing. How about you? What's the situation?" Mia sighed. "There's good news and bad news. Which one do you want to hear first?" I was used to receiving the worst news first to avoid disappointment. "The bad news, I guess." Mia gave a bitter smile. "The police have gotten involved, so they don't dare to play dirty tricks openly anymore. But they've sent people to covertly harass the shop, and the police can't be there all day." I wasn't surprised. I knew this wouldn't be resolved so easily. As long as they weren't vandalizing, it would be difficult for the police to intervene. And the good news. Hearing about the good news, Mia immediately perked up. "Many students at the university are supporting us. Everyone automatically went to forums and private groups to refute the rumors. Not only that, the number of orders has increased. I've also sent legal notices to those spreading false rumors about our supply. As soon as everything is sorted, we can deliver right away. Now, there's only one issue left, those thugs harassing us." We were both a bit discouraged. Everything was ready, all that was missing was a final push. But who could help us? Suddenly, a name flashed in my mind. I gave a sly smile. "It's him." I pulled Mia and ran towards the lab just as Senior Ethan was stepping out. He was the closest person I knew at university. "Senior, we have something we need your help with." After we explained the whole situation, Ethan was stunned. "So, you want to find some athletic guys, those who are free, to come to your shop, just sit there, and in return you'll sponsor them 2 months of diet meals." This was the best method I could think of. They targeted Mia and me just because we were 2 young girls. So, if they faced tall, muscular guys, would they still dare to cause trouble? Honestly, even I found this idea very appealing. Too bad I don't have bulging muscles, haha. Ethan agreed to help me find people and even praised us. "You two are really clever. Not everyone can start a business and open a shop while still students." In the following days, Mia and I were so busy we could barely breathe. Mia said, "If you don't break, you can't build." So she decided to renovate the entire shop and heavily promote its new grand opening. As for me, I ran everywhere to stabilize the supply chain. The old man's family I found earlier was clearly not enough, so I had to visit every farming household in the area, asking the old man to introduce me to more trustworthy people. After that, I had to check vegetable quality, sign contracts, arrange delivery schedules. Working with elderly people was truly not easy. They worried about being cheated, so they constantly reconfirmed times and locations. They also feared the vegetables wouldn't meet requirements, so they repeatedly showed me their produce. Only after I assured them were they carefully pleased. And then, I received a series of food bribes from the elderly farmers. This warmth and sincerity made me unable to help but wish for a little more. Who said I was unlucky, having a mother like that? Sometimes I even wondered if I was her biological child. Finally, after all efforts, things gradually stabilized. Mia and I chose an auspicious day to reopen the renovated shop, inviting senior Ethan to attend. As expected, ever since the shop had a few muscular guys sitting guard, those terrified thugs dared not even approach. The number of walk-in and delivery orders exploded. Many students even came to the shop themselves to show support. Although I suspected they were just admiring the handsome, six-pack guys, as long as the profits were good, who cared? With a steady customer base, our competitors temporarily dared not harass us anymore, only able to watch our shop grow with resentment. Even so, I knew that things weren't truly over. As long as we did better than them, they would always be like sewer rats, lurking in the shadows. But now, I was no longer afraid. Because rats would always be just rats, forever afraid to step out into the sunlight. As things at the shop gradually settled into a routine, I began to focus on my studies. Now free from financial worries, I immediately quit my job at the cafeteria. My goal was not just to graduate, but to secure a ticket into the most prestigious academy. I dedicated all my time to classes and the professor's research group. The initial capital had been fully recovered. I had even made a small profit. From now on, I no longer needed to beg my family for the meager allowance, and perhaps they had already forgotten my existence. But as I was enjoying my independent life, my sister reappeared. She came to the university and refused to give up until she found me. I changed into simple clothes and met her at a cafe. Clara no longer had the radiant look she had last time. I secretly thought, perhaps she had realized that despite being together for so long, her rich boyfriend had never promised marriage, and he never even spent the night with her. But she would never tell me these things. As soon as she saw me, she lifted her head, looking disdainful. Seeing my slightly haggard appearance from studying, she imagined something and mocked me. "Oh, big sis, why do you look so poor now that you're in university? Don't worry, we're still sisters. When I become successful, I'll help you out a bit." I calmly held my coffee cup and said, "Really? Thank you in advance then." Seeing that I showed no dissatisfaction or envy, Clara became even more smug. "But big sis, you probably can't come home anymore. Now you have nothing in your hands, not even money to buy fruit, do you?" She feigned regret, shook her head, and sighed. "What a pity. You're still so young, yet you can only live a poor life at university." I just smiled faintly. "I think it's very good. University is a place for learning. There's nothing bad about it at all." Saying that, I casually glanced at the pile of jewelry on her, then slowly asked, "Oh, right. I remember you have a job and a boyfriend, but why does the jewelry you're wearing not look like genuine articles? Did you buy fakes by mistake?" Clara's face immediately changed. She didn't have the money to buy these items. She said she was working, but in reality, how many days had she actually worked? Perhaps she didn't even have a penny left in her wallet now. I knew that whenever she went out, her boyfriend never accompanied her. No matter how much she begged, he never took her to a luxury store. If she dared to show attitude, that man could be even more ruthless. Now, everything for her, from food and clothes to accommodation, depended on that man. She didn't dare to argue, let alone act spoiled. On the contrary, she even had to buy gifts to curry favor with him. Otherwise, forget about going out. Even meeting him would be difficult. Only when she was obedient would he show a good attitude, take her out to eat, or grant her a chance for a short walk. Over time, Clara also learned to buy fake goods to save face, but she would never tell me these things. She just gritted her teeth and smiled. "What does a broke bookworm like you know about designer items to tell real from fake? Do you think you can stay in university forever? You'll have to drop out soon." I calmly looked at her, smiled, and asked, "What do you mean?" Her face turned livid with anger. She leaned close to my ear and gritted each word. "You don't know yet. The university is about to force you to drop out." Hearing these words, I wasn't afraid, but an indescribable annoyance welled up in my heart. I slowly stood up. "Clearly, do you have encephalitis? Or did you dream again that I dropped out?" I looked directly into her eyes and gently asked, "So, did that dream tell you why your boyfriend won't marry you?" Her pupils contracted, and her face distorted. Now that economics was no longer an issue, Clara had no other way to stir up trouble with me. So I didn't mind letting her know that she wasn't the only one who had reincarnated. I turned and walked away, leaving behind a teasing remark, "I won't tell you. Figure it out yourself." Spring was full of life, everything reborn. Mia invited me to eat, dragging me out of bed and getting me ready before dawn. When I turned around, I saw senior Ethan standing outside the window. As if sensing it, he looked up at me. Mia tugged my arm, whining, Thalia, Senior helped us so much last time. We have to thank him properly today. Also, you'll need his support with your studies. You sit next to him." Before she even finished speaking, Mia pushed me into a chair. I helplessly watched her, then turned to Ethan, jokingly saying, "Senior, we really must thank you. Today, feel free to order anything you want. Eat until the restaurant goes bankrupt if you like." Mia patted her chest, giggling. "It's on me today." Ethan smiled awkwardly, then seriously said, "It's nothing, I just helped a little. But regarding your studies, I have important news to tell you." Hearing his serious tone, I also became focused. "The professor is about to choose his direct disciple, Thalia. You must try hard for this spot. If you can follow him, the opportunity to go straight to graduate school is immense." I froze for a moment. This was indeed important news. Who wouldn't want to seize this opportunity? I sincerely thanked Ethan. From the first time he helped me with my luggage, to supporting me in the research group, and now giving me this valuable news. This life, I was truly much luckier than my past life. Back at university, I immediately compiled all my academic achievements and proactively contacted the professor. Thanks to my previous diligence, he didn't reject me, but once I expressed my desire to become his direct disciple, he also began to set stricter requirements. I put all matters concerning Clara aside, dedicating my entire focus to research. I even cut off all social activities. Mia, seeing my pale, gaunt, makeup-free face, secretly brought me many snacks, afraid I would collapse. Finally, after a long period of challenges, the exam ended, and the research group's project concluded. I nervously walked into the professor's office. As soon as I entered, I saw Senior Ethan standing next to the professor. The decisive moment had arrived. The professor smiled, evaluating my work in the research group, and also pointed out areas where I needed to improve. Just as I was beginning to feel a glimmer of hope, he suddenly changed his tone. "Congratulations, Thalia. From today, you are officially my direct disciple." I was overjoyed beyond words. Ethan smiled and discreetly winked at me. Finally, all my efforts were rewarded. The distance to my goal had shortened by one more step. Unexpectedly receiving a call from home, I was a bit surprised. Did they still remember me? But when I saw Clara happily bringing that man home, I immediately understood what she wanted to prove. She pulled me into a room, coldly smiling. "Big sis, it seems things aren't going as you wished, huh? He's agreed to marry me. Don't forget to come to my wedding soon." I was slightly stunned. She immediately observed my expression, slowly adjusted her hair. "Soon, I'll be a rich lady, while you'll just have to live a miserable life in that university. Thalia, in this life, I will definitely live better than you." But I only looked at her with pity, because in my past life, I had witnessed it all, and I knew the luckiest thing in my life was never accepting his marriage proposal. I had once escaped from this man, but this time, to keep Clara, he pretended to agree to marriage. I glanced at the fake bag on her, didn't bother to say another word, turned and left. A few months later, I received a wedding invitation. My mother called, telling me to attend, not forgetting to criticize me for giving too little money as a wedding gift. It's hilarious. Who knows, that money might be returned before it's even given. I chuckled faintly, cutting her off. "Mother, don't worry, your precious son-in-law is very rich. How could he possibly care about a small wedding gift from a poor relative like me?" Mother's displeasure was evident on her face, but she couldn't find a reason to retort. After all, today was the important day of her most beloved child. I didn't expect the wedding to be so deserted. Besides a few relatives from our side, there were no guests from the groom's side. Even the groom's parents didn't show up. Mother awkwardly explained. Clara said her in-laws are all abroad and couldn't come back. The surrounding guests exchanged glances, their faces full of implication. After all, who gets married without at least one representative from the groom's family? Mother, embarrassed and annoyed, glared at me as if I were the reason for her losing face. Nevertheless, the ceremonies proceeded fully. The MC read out blessings, the big screen started showing wedding photos, and the background music gradually reached a climax. All lights converged towards the grand entrance, where the bride would appear. The groom stood on stage, ready to welcome his future wife. But when the doors opened, the person who walked in was not Clara in a magnificent wedding dress, but an angry middle-aged woman leading a child. Behind her, Clara was held back, furiously cursing nonstop, wishing she could tear that woman apart. On the big screen, the wedding photos suddenly disappeared, replaced by a private video between the groom and that woman. The entire hall fell silent. The lights, the music, everything stopped. The groom stood frozen on stage, his face white as a sheet. I didn't expect this woman could endure all this time and only explode now. "Who are you, daring to come here and ruin my wedding? What do you want?" Clara shrieked wildly. Clearly, she had lost all reason, not even thinking of blaming the man. In my past life, I was almost fooled by him too, but because I had struggled in society from an early age, I wasn't easily trusting. When I rejected him, I personally witnessed another girl fall into his deceptive love trap. At that time, I only felt lucky to have escaped in time. The middle-aged woman snatched the microphone. "You vixen, you stole my husband, defrauded my family's money, have you no shame?" Clara was stunned. Mother reacted faster, trying to rush forward and hit the woman, but father pulled her back. "Who is this crazy old hag? Get out, today is my daughter's wedding." Clara forcefully pushed the groom, screaming piercingly, "Tell me, what is this?" Mother quickly embraced her. "It's okay, darling, this woman is crazy. I'll have someone kick her out." But she couldn't hear a word anymore. That man had always delayed marriage, never publicized their relationship, and didn't want to spend money on her. She even had to pretend to commit suicide for him to reluctantly agree to marry. And now, all the doubts in her mind were gradually connecting. "You, explain yourself now." I stood with my arms crossed, watching the chaotic scene unfold from a distance, feeling detached. The middle-aged woman lunged into a fight with Clara. The man, terrified, cowered, only concerned with protecting his child. My parents rushed in to help, but being older, they were no match for that woman. They were quickly held back by the people accompanying her. The entire hall turned into a chaotic mess. Many people took out their phones to record this classic scene. I just calmly stood far away, avoiding being drawn into this ridiculous fight. Guests whispered and gossiped, their eyes full of disdain. The lavishly decorated venue was now as desolate as a garbage dump. And Clara, who should have been stepping into a happy life today, was beaten to the point where her face was distorted. The groom, who used to act so superior when looking at me, now cowered, not daring to utter a single word. Truly a spectacle. I thought that after this incident, Clara would break up with that man immediately. After all, she wasn't like me, someone unloved by anyone. Our parents would surely stand up for her. She might even be able to stay home and be supported without working. But I didn't expect that as soon as she suggested breaking up, Mother would strongly object. Breaking up now would just make others laugh at you, wouldn't it? Now everyone in this neighborhood knows about our family. Father, pitying his younger daughter, quietly advised, "Why don't you just break up? The longer this drags on, the more she'll suffer." "What do you know?" Mother yelled, her face purple with anger. "My daughter's youth has all been given to that guy. If she breaks up now, we'll get nothing. Now that Clara's reputation is like this, where else can she get married?" Bringing up marriage, Mother began to coax Clara. "Breaking up now would be too much of a loss. Don't worry, as long as you have his child, you're still so young, how could you lose to that old hag?" Clara turned pale, gritting her teeth and saying, "Mother, how will people look at me later?" Mother became furious, slapping her most beloved daughter for the first time. "Even if you die, you must drag him down into the mud with you." After saying that, she turned to me and ordered, "Thalia, go talk some sense into your sister. She doesn't understand, but you should." After our parents left the room, Clara sat silently for a long time, then suddenly burst out laughing. "Thalia, don't you think I'm funny? I clearly chose a different path, but in the end, I still ended up with this outcome. Why can't I be like you?" I didn't know how to answer. In my past life, I was forced out into the world to struggle. Without qualifications or experience, I started with the cheapest jobs, wiping tables, washing dishes, serving tea. I did all the heavy work no one else wanted. Moreover, I had to avoid the filthy stares of men and deal with harassers and opportunists. I endured hardships that Clara couldn't even imagine. But the most pitiful thing was that I had no one to share those sufferings with. Clara, at least, had a family behind her to protect her. As for me, from the moment I started working, they only messaged me when they needed money. Other than that, they never once asked how I was. It wasn't until I found a good job and someone who loved me that she killed me, but it was also she who gave me a chance to start over. For the first time since my reincarnation, I said something sincere to her. "Clara, that man is not a good destination." After saying that, I turned and left. Behind me, she was both laughing and crying, her voice crazed. "Thalia, you did this on purpose, didn't you? You deliberately stood by and watched me be miserable, didn't you? Why didn't you tell me earlier? Are you happy now? Everything you have now I gave to you. I won't let you be smug for too long." But I didn't turn back. She still returned to that man, but this time there were no ripples in my heart. It wasn't surprising, because this was the path she chose herself, and each time, she was the one who made the choice first. From then on, Clara began to live a more discreet life, gradually becoming an obedient mistress. Following mother's advice, she used the child to secure the position of the official wife, becoming a mistress in the shadows. I just found it amusing. If he couldn't even protect her, how could he protect her child? But these matters had nothing to do with me. I was engrossed in my studies and work, completely ignoring her. At this time, Mia's shop opened a second branch. I continued to invest with her. Although I hadn't become rich yet, I had more than enough to spend, no longer needing to worry about basic living expenses, and could fully devote myself to academics. The professor was very satisfied with me, encouraging me to go straight for my PhD, and Senior Ethan was also ready to accompany me on my academic journey. The next time I met Clara, I was a bit stunned. Beneath her sunglasses, I could see bruises around her eyes. Her hand gently stroked her protruding pregnant belly. "Big sis, in the end, I'm still the winner." She smiled smugly, but I only felt pity. "Why do you keep clinging to me? What does my life have to do with yours?" Clara paused, then gritted her teeth and said, "Who says it's not related? You living better than me, that's the biggest problem." I burst out laughing. So that's it. We had nothing left to say, but she got angry, thinking I was looking down on her. "Do you think you're so great just because you're a university student? Do you think it's despicable that I turn myself into a mistress? Don't forget who gave you this opportunity." I didn't answer. I had never looked down on anyone. Everyone has the right to choose their own path. Seeing that I didn't argue, Clara glared resentfully, then quickly left. When I saw the familiar car parked in the distance, I knew whose car it was. And I also understood what a woman could do when her child became a threat. When I received the direct admission notice for my master's degree, my family called. Mother's voice was panicked and scared. "Thalia, come home now. Your sister had a miscarriage. Bring money back to save her quickly." I hung up, blocked the number. Looking up, I saw Mia and Ethan running towards me with flowers. "Thalia, you're amazing." I smiled brightly, taking the bouquet.